What the heck is going on?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Can you ready? Can you play?
Yeah, I'll be
Are you
pushing
ready?
around, man. Dang.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, man.
You ready for a game?
I am. Ready to go.
You look
Excited.
ready. You like what we did with the place? Make you feel right at home? A lot of Packer stuff on the walls?
I figured that would be your gig.
Yeah.
You gonna go in the Hall of Fame as a Packer or Raider? Come on.
How do you come here and ask me a
come on.
question like
Yeah,
that?
you can ask me some tough questions.
This is my interview. You understand me?
Okay.
What are you doing here, man? What are you doing? You can't mess up the interview like that.
I'm sorry.
I can't answer that question though, Coach.
Can't?
Not today.
For a second time this season already, putting Charles Woodson out in the field. He was at Green Bay, hanging with the Raiders and Packers, two former teams of his in the National Football League, and he joins us back here on the show. How are you, Charles Woodson?
Rich, man, I'm doing well, man. How are you today?
I am doing great. We just showed a clip of you with Gruden. He was your first ever professional football coach, right? You were his first draft choice with the Raiders, correct?
Man, he certainly was, man. 1998 was the fourth overall pick. And we got to talk about that a little bit on the show, too. But, yeah, he was, man, my first coach, and here he is. You know, I came back to the Raiders for a second time. Now he's back again for a second time. So it's pretty cool to talk to him like that in that setting.
Yeah, and you chatted with Derek Carr as well prior to this game. Man, oh, man, it all turned on Carr reaching for the pylon and fumbling into and through the end zone. I hate that rule, man. I'm wondering what you, an all-time GOAT defender, thinks of that rule where the ball goes to the defense just because it gets fumbled into the end zone and through it. What do you think of that rule?
No, you know, I don't like that rule at all, man. And I don't know, you know, why there is such a rule. You know, it's just funny how it seems like sometimes things that seem so easy and, you know, things that we think about that should be a certain way and it should be a simple change doesn't get changed, you know. So you sit here, you know, after a big game like that and a play like that changes the entire game. You know, I always laugh when people say, oh, well, one play doesn't change a game. Well, I don't believe that. You know, momentum is a scary thing once it's on the other sideline. And that play, that was a potentially 14-point swing where, you know, they're going in to score possibly a touchdown, and then all of a sudden Green Bay gets the ball back and they go 80 yards for a touchdown. So, yeah, not a fan of that rule.
You know, it's certainly when you talk about how momentum can change a game, it's certainly when momentum that is potentially game-changing is placed into the hands of Aaron Rodgers, who had statistically the greatest game in the history of Green Bay Packer quarterbacking with a perfect passer rating, first to ever do that in the history of that vaunted franchise. You chatted with him as well in the week leading up. Same guy, same situation that you saw, a happier guy. Tell me how you found Aaron Rodgers when you connected with him, Charles.
I did, man. He seemed like a guy, to use one of his words, relax. He was very relaxed going into the game, and we just got a chance to talk. And I talked to him about that current team, and he talked about how he feels like he really has some leaders on the other side of the ball, guys that have come in like Zadarius Smith and kind of taken over a leadership role and has brought a certain energy to that team that they hadn't had there in a few years. And, you know, he really kind of harped on that, and he said that's really been the game changer for that team. He said he's, you know, much more comfortable in the offense with Matt LaFleur. You know, their relationship is starting to gel, and he's starting to understand the offense better each and every week. And I think you kind of saw that on Sunday. And, you know, after the game, I asked him an obvious question, you know, because the last time, I think it was the Cowboys week, he said the Cowboys game was his best game. And so I asked him after the game, I said, hey, man, was this your best game? And, you know, he kind of gave me that look like, yeah, this was my best game. So yeah, man, he's feeling good, especially with, you know, how the defense has carried the team, you know, so to speak, to this point. But he's feeling dangerous right now. And I think he's the worst quarterback in the league that you want to feel dangerous.
Certainly, when you say that he thought his best game was Dallas's, and even admitted this one was better than that, and he didn't have Devontae Adams for either of them. So this is not even the ceiling, right, Charles? Would you agree with that?
Could you repeat that for me, Rich?
That neither of those games, Dallas or the one that you just witnessed, Davante Adams was playing in neither. So this is not even the ceiling. Would you agree with that for them?
Absolutely not. I think what you do in a game like that, when you have your top receiver out, you begin to find players on your squad that you didn't know could go out there and make plays for you, or guys that had a limited role, stepping into a much bigger role, go out there and make the plays when needed. Davante, we know he's a number one wide receiver, but when he's not there, what do? You spread around and you look for other guys. We also talked about, the importance of Aaron Jones and him being a big key for that offense to get things going. And he was another guy that had a spectacular catch in the first quarter of the game where he had to find the ball in the end zone, turn around one way, and then had to turn the other way to catch the ball. So he's an important part of that offense. But, yes, those young receivers stepped up. Scanlon and their names are so crazy. I can't even think of their names right now.
Valdez, Scantlick, and Kumaro, and Allison, and Lazard. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a law firm, man.
I'm telling you.
It's totally crazy.
Yes, and all those guys contributed. And if you look at that game, I mean, all of those guys got catches. And so, like I said, you start finding some gems on your roster that you didn't necessarily know were there. And they stepped up big for him.
Well, then now we're also looking around, Charles Woodson here on the Rich Eisen Show. I had DeForest Buckner on yesterday's show. Niners are 6-0, and the Saints are 6-1 because they have Teddy Bridgewater keeping the ship is not afloat, but I mean steaming towards the Super Bowl. And you just saw the Packers there at 6-1, and you know what it looks like and feel like to be around a Packers team that's on its way to the Super Bowl and win it all. Do you think Green Bay has the ability to go into Miami and win it all this year, Charles?
I think without question. I think with the Green Bay Packers having a defense right now playing the way it's playing, having guys up front that can pressure the quarterback and, be able to get to him and throw offenses off in that way. Have secondary, have young players like Kevin King, who's come up with another fourth quarter interception to stop a drive, a big play. Of course, in the game, having a young guy like Jair Alexander, who also got to talk to, a young guy that just brings a tremendous amount of energy to the game. They have the attitude, they have speed on defense to go out there and help the team overall. But like I said, with Aaron Rodgers, if he's becoming more and more comfortable with this offense and they continue to gel the way that they are, and like you just brought up, without Davante Adams, and then you get him back, and, he's a guy that you have to potentially double, out there on the field. And so if you have to double him and you got young players on the other side that can go out there and carry the load if they can't get the ball to Davante, I mean, you got a tough out with the Green Bay Packers if they get into the playoffs, and I don't think there's a question they will get in.
Charles Woodson joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. And you also spoke with Derek Carr, as folks are going to see on NFL The Grind tonight. Derek told you that he likes the players that he's playing with. He likes his teammates, and he even said to you that sometimes it's not always the case, and saying that you would know that as well. I mean, what did he mean by all of that, Charles?
Well, I think, when you go into, any season, there's always new players, players that come from different organizations, and, maybe they don't have the same beliefs in the team, same belief in the scheme, same belief in you, that you had and somebody else that was there. And so you may not have, great relationships with those guys. And when you're going out there on Sunday, you may not be on the same page. I think with Derek, what he was talking about is these young guys were all there in the off season, and they did have, some controversy this off season with, a big name player that was supposed to be there and kind of took them.
You won't even say his name, Charles? You won't even say his name anymore?
Yeah, not right now, man. I counted on this guy to be on the team, and he let us all down. So, I'm not going to say his name right now. And so I think these guys, they gel together as a young team, and they're young players, guys that got to get some experience in the game together. But they went through all of that together, And I think, Derek got a chance to, kind of see these guys, young players, come in and not worry about any of that. They came out there to work each and every day. Gruden said the same thing. I talked to Mike Mayock before the game, and he said the same thing. He said he's got guys that truly love football. And I got that from Derek. And then also, I talked to so many guys. I talked to Josh Jacobs, and talking to him and Jair Alexander on the other side. Man, Rich, you can tell that these guys here are that they're happy to be in the league, but not just happy to be in the league. And what I mean by that is they're not just happy just saying, hey, yeah, I'm in the NFL. These are guys that want to leave their mark. And I think that's what Derek Carr was getting at when saying that he loves this group of young guys. If you watch that game, offensively, they looked great for that first half. Like I said, they're about to go up possibly 17-14, I think, at that point when Derek Carr
had he got in there. Hey, man, that kid Waller's no joke. That tight end is oh my God, he's
a problem. He's a problem. He's a guy I watched. During that game, earlier in the game, I watched. Oakland go in a 4-by-1 set, and they got Waller out by himself. So they expect this guy to be a matchup problem, and I think Jair Alexander was on him, and had pretty tight coverage, but they didn't go there. But that's the kind of matchup you're going to look with Waller. And if you watch him during the game, he had touchdowns called back. This kid could have had a monumental day. But if it weren't for penalties and that sort of thing. So they're confident in who they have on this team, and they know they're young, but they're guys that come in and play with a level of maturity, and they're happy with where they're at right now.
Charles Woodson here on the Rich Eisen Show. In a couple minutes to have with you left, I want to hit you on two items. One of which is the quarterback that you first interviewed for the grind back in week 2, Tom Brady. Our fellow Michigan man Adam Schefter saying, "Hey, take a look at his real estate situation, selling his house. His trainer sold the house too. That there's a little bit of smoke here, that he might be preparing to leave New England or exact whatever leverage he has in that direction." Do you think that's the case, Charles, knowing Tom as well as you do?
Well, I think if he's selling the house and the trainer's selling the house, I think what he's probably going to do next year is just, they'll probably move the family down to Brazil and they'll just commute back and forth. So I'm not going to put a whole lot into it right now that Tom Brady's retiring and all of that.
Or leaving, or preparing to leave maybe New England and play for another team. Do you think that would be possible?
I just think, Rich, man, for the last 5 or so, 6 years, man, we've been all speculating on what Tom is going to do. We've all been speculating on how he looks at some point during the season, that he's dropped off. We've all speculated that his arm strength ain't there. We've all speculated that, he's going to him and Bill ain't getting along. We got all these speculations, and all he's done is go out there and win more Super Bowls. So I'm not going to sit on here and try to foresee what he's doing. I feel like Brady is a guy that always has a plan, and he always keeps people guessing. And I think the only people that know what he's going to do is himself, probably his wife and his trainer, and that's probably it. And all of us are sitting around here, me and you talking and trying to figure out what he's going to do. He probably has an underground lair somewhere there in Boston that nobody knows about, and living underground, and that's where he's going to be for the foreseeable future. So I don't even worry about time, man. He'll be all right, and I expect him to play till 45, like he said.
Okay, and then about an hour before you call in here, everything's popping up about our coach Jim Harbaugh, who you saw a couple weeks ago getting into the Michigan Hall of Fame. By the way, congratulations on that, Charles.
Thank you.
You are most welcome and obviously deserving of it. That he had to send a letter to recruits saying that all rumors of him trying to pursue an exit strategy out of Michigan, quote unquote, total crap. Did you get any sense, being in Ann Arbor, that this would finally maybe spin in a direction with Harbaugh leaving, with us needing a new coach? Charles, do you sense that at all?
Well, I didn't sense that, but for me, anytime, and this just isn't about Coach Harbaugh's situation, but anytime I ever hear a coach have to deny that there's a rumor of him leaving, I immediately believe it. So I mean, I don't have any inside knowledge of what's going on, but if he's got to send out letters and declare that he's not going anywhere in the whole nine, man, I don't put a whole lot into that. So I think probably where there's smoke, there's probably fire on this, and I don't know if they initiated the poking around or the NFL came poking around or which one it is, but to me, there's always some truth to that.
So when you say, okay, so you believe the fact that there is something going on, not believe the denial is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying
Normally.
is I didn't get a sense of that when I was there.
Right.
But what I'm saying is now that you brought it up and then a coach has to go out and deny it, now I'm saying, yeah, there's probably something there.
What do you think ails the program to the point where I shouldn't say this because damn man they almost had it, and that kid Ronnie Bell needs to keep his chin up because Michigan's going to need him and he's really talented. So all that said, what do you think is going on with the Michigan program, Charles?
Man, it's to me. I mean, it's kind of hard because we have a talented football team. And I just watch the game sometimes, and it just seems like there's something there that's missing. I don't feel the type of energy from the games when I watch the games that I need to feel. So I'm not sure where that's derived from.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I'm not in the locker room and that sort of thing. So I don't know what the players go through on a day to day and all of that, but. There seems to be something missing. But then also, too, when I watched, I watched Penn State game and, I feel like the guys a lot of times because of the way our defense is built, it is an attacking defense, and the guys have to play man-to-man across the board. But I feel like at times, man, you got to get out of that sometimes. And you got to maybe you line up in a blitz look, but you got to get out of there. I mean, because just like you watch film on a certain team, that team also watches film on you. And so those teams know exactly where to attack us on defense. And I saw, Metellus, he's sitting there lined up on, the wide receiver from Penn State, number one. He's the best player on their team. And, in that situation, I would much rather have LeVert Hill or one of the, corners on that guy, at all times. So, there's just, little things like that and just, just the energy, that you need to go out there and beat, the top teams. It's just something missing.
Charles, you're the best. I love our chats, as you know, on and off the air, and I couldn't be more thrilled every time I see that you're on the docket to do a deep dive for NFL The Grind. You're awesome at it. I hope you keep doing it. You're great.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Yep, I got a couple more left in me, so you'll be seeing and talking to me again.
Okay, Charles Woodson. We'll chat soon. You're the best.
Yep.
Take care. That's Charles Woodson, at Charles Woodson on both Twitter and Instagram.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.